Good afternoon, everybody. It's again one more time to meet you all on this platform of Eye to Eye. And though this is just only a second episode, it has reached far and beyond with the willingness and the cooperation and the openness to accept new things. That's what we are here for. And as we all know, when we talk about new things, when we talk about innovation, when we talk about doing something, learning something new, we always come up with new people in life. And that's how we are here every week, week after week. We are going to train new people, meet them, get to know about them. And this is going to be such a platform to take it forward. End of the day, taking it forward, where does it land up to? Equity, partnership, working in collaboration, such that the good old saying, as Srividhya always says, that celebrate every single moment of your life. So as we do today with our guests and also with Madam Sandhya Balaji, to evolve as self, community and the terrain. And as we take forward these beautiful memories, we take forward the beautiful insights, we take forward the beautiful inferences, we take forward the beautiful ideas that we forward through to the younger generation, not only to the younger generation, to the community and the society and the nation and to the globe. And there we are. There is no such thing, such that we say that when we talk about people, getting to know beautiful. And what is beautifulness? Life is so beautiful because of the things that we see and we do. Hope you'll agree with me. And what makes it more happy is connecting with others, knowing people, meeting new people, socializing. As such, what is the main ultimate of it? As I told you, working together, getting to know together. As we always believe in one platform, coming together is a beginning. Staying together is a progress, and working together is a success. On that note, I would like to welcome Madam Sandhya Balaji to share her views, and then we'll introduce the guests. Yes, Madam.
Yes, I totally agree with every word you said. And to live every moment and to celebrate life is ultimately the key. And when we need to celebrate, we need to have all good things around. And in that sense, progress is very, very important, and people are very, very important. After all, without being interdependent on each other, we are nothing. So let us begin today's show with your very beautiful, positive words. And we're all charged up and looking forward to talk to the guest as well.
Yes, who is our guest for today? I've already disclosed it though, what is going to be that. Any guesses, Madam Sandhya?
Definitely, Mr. Krithik, the young prodigy roboteer.
I know. There is whatever we are going to say about him, it's going to be very, very less. As I told you, self-made person. It doesn't mean that you've just made yourself. Creating a niche for yourself. That's what he has done throughout his life. And such a young age, we could see him as a budding entrepreneur, a living inspiration, such that which made us think about him and bring him on this platform. And some of the few things which I would like to share about Mr. Krithik. He studied in the school, KRM Public School, High School, and also about Velamal Vidyashram. And also he has learned about SB Robotics as a beginner, advanced, expert, all those courses that he has completed. And don't ask me his age, that's not going to match him, however it is. And also with sufficient supplement licenses and certifications, hackathon course completion, GUVV Geek Networks, Angular Geek Networks, data analyzing using Pandas, robotic process and automation. This is very, very less. Believe me, it is very less. Apart from that, he has done apprentice and internship courses with Intel I-14 Youth, and also research and development specialist, SP maker for the lab Kolattur in India, and also as an internship trainee in Brahmastra Aerospace and Defense Private Limited. And during the internship, he was exposed to various activities and discussion in internship division. And he has worked very closely as a project trainee program. And he has successfully completed the role of the project trainee entitled as Design Analysis of the model rocket at Brahmastra Aerospace Systems. This is again very, very less. He is a CTO of the first step. He has worked as a CTO of the first step, and also he has worked as a chief executive officer of the Futura Robotics. So I really, really take huge pride in welcoming the robotic coder, research and development specialist, Android app developer, web developer, YouTuber, and also TEDx speaker. Nothing is left. Really. Believe me, nothing is
Yes.
left. And who is
He
the
has
winner?
left no stone unturned.
For anybody to say anything. And it's very less again, believe me. Winner of IIT Madras B Plan, conducted by InnoLabs Ventures. And he was only school student among 500 college students all over India. One of the unmemorable award of a Young Achiever Award from Promising Indian Society, where he was honored by the former late president, Mr. Pranab Mukherjee, sir. And some of his very renowned projects that he had worked on is solar power electric car, electric cycle, and humanoid robot, etc., etc., etc. And a few more to add, if I'm allowed to do so. And definitely he has all pride and definitely he has had such an influence, such an inspiration, and he has bagged 12 national awards, 10 state awards, nominated for 1 international award, and more than 10 world records. I have only 2 hands to clap for him, really, out of which 2 world records from
And
Kalam
I
World
have only 1.5 today.
OMG Book of Records, and it's being a part of Coding Champs and World Book of Records in London. Being a robotic trainer, he has conducted summer camps, winter camps, online, offline webinars, trained more than 1,000 schools and college students. Now you know why Mr. Krithik is here. And he has trained the junior level students for achieving Team World Record title, making the most of DIY electronic projects from Kalam World Records. On that note, I really take this very proud moment of introducing Mr. Krithik Vijayakumar. And I dedicate this moment to the World Youth Day, which is a highlight of August 2023. Over to you, Mr. Krithik. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for the introduction and this wonderful opportunity for me to expose myself to the world. Thank you so much. So yeah, like as you said on the introduction, I'm just stumbled what to speak more about me. So yeah, so this is what I'm doing. So I actually have a company called as FUTURA Robotics. So I used to train a lot of students on robotics and electronics. And one thing like I would like to say is like on a short note, I would like to say like I'm a kind of robotics developer. Also, I work on artificial intelligence technology. I also build a lot of innovations based on these robotics and artificial intelligence. And one of these very recent innovation was a book which was written by artificial intelligence. So this was one of my greatest milestones. So this is the book. And so it's called as Unbounding Artificial Intelligence. So this is an entire book which was written by AI. So I actually coded that AI and asked it some kind of very typical questions where kind of hypothetical questions which even humans stumble to answer. So the main concept of the book is that will AI overtake humans or not? So this is what the concept of the book is.
Is it on Amazon?
Yeah, it's on Amazon, but currently the book has been oversold and currently went for out of stock. So soon it will be available back on Amazon.
Obviously. Definitely. What else can we say? What else can come from you? What else can come from you? Really amazing, beautiful.
Thank you.
Well, it's as we were discussing, and the course of the program is going to take you further. The main idea is how to reach to universities and schools and all education institutions. How to make it more innovation. Innovation is something which is not something beyond or something which are to be added. It is already integrated one, which is already there in one. It's salt in a curry, as we were discussing before, definitely. And yes, Madam Sandhya, would you like to add something,
Yes.
or to go with that?
Definitely, as you said, we have to reach out to as many people as possible. And with that, Mr. Krithik has also talked about his artificial intelligence. Shall I go ahead and shoot out my first question to him?
Yes, please.
Yeah, so Mr. Krithik, you are into many diverse projects which are all surrounding SDGs. I mean, we are marveled with the idea, like at this young age, probably many students wouldn't even be aware of this, but you are working on them, unbelievable. And so you know that AI and robotics are all scheduled to reduce the workforce. So how do you think companies should strategize to address this potential challenge of significant workforce reduction due to the growing prominence of AI and robotics? And also basically we all fear that there will be more unemployment and poverty because of that. What do you think, and how do you think companies should handle it?
So one thing, like I would say, I also put a reference from my book too, because fully it's based on such kind of whether the artificial intelligence or overtaking. So when we actually speak on the jobs overtaking, the actual answer I would give is yes, it's going to overtake a lot of jobs. Even though the companies or government tries to put the kind of law or kind of legal regulation, it's going to overtake a lot of jobs. So that's one answer I would like to give. So the reason why it overtakes is because years back we also had a lot of jobs, but those jobs were taken by technology. One good example I could give is like the cameramans. So especially the aerial photography. Today, if you just go for like 10 to 15 years back, aerial photography was a kind of field where you have to hire a helicopter, and then you have to have a cameraman. Also, you have to hire two pilots for it. So, in the name of in the kind of case where three people or three jobs were included, artificial intelligence or the current technology, whatever I'm saying, it just brought into one single platform or as a drone. The drone can be controlled by just a single person. So now the pilot and the photography has come to just one person. So now we don't have those two people working in that same field. So technology has been replacing a lot of jobs since it has been evolved. So to say will AI overtake jobs or not? Yeah, it's going to overtake them. Now how do I overcome? Now how do I overcome such a thing? Now when artificial intelligence or some technology is going to overtake a particular job, it's going to leave hundreds of jobs behind. Now, in the same example I gave for the drone, now drone was a new concept every time. But when drone industries came, there were a lot of drone manufacturing setups that were placed. Now, because of the manufacturing companies were placed, there were a lot of people employed in those manufacturing fields. Now, this is what the perspective we have to see. The job is being destroyed. There are 100 new jobs that are gone. So how do I choose? So how do companies or how do a basic common man actually choose their thing? The only simple thing I would answer is he has to be very fit in his career, like 15 years back. Say for example, my age is like 70. So if I want to actually scale or if I want to actually decide my future, I have to decide it now itself for the next 30 years. So I should have a scalable plan for the next 30 years from now itself to make my life sustainable. So this is what the mindset I want people to think on. Now, when it comes to companies, of course, there will be a lot of governing AI laws that will be upcoming in the next maybe next 5 or 6 years by the government or by the United Nations. So such laws, if the companies follow it on a full-fledged way, then no kind of losses is going to happen when it comes to job losses or job overtakings.
Brilliant.
Thank you so much,
I know,
and so much insight.
Truly inspiring, really truly inspiring, I would say. And moreover, if I can just add, I'm going to talk to you as a parent now. Sorry about it. You have taken, as we always, I think, my age and my people, my generation people will accept with me. The best, if I'm going to close my eyes and say that, what is the essay that you remember now? science is a blessing or it's a curse. This essay, every single person of my generation would have somehow or other, they would have written either as an essay, or they would have really spoken about in the elocution competition. Now coming to this, it's an actual reality that we are facing. Like as a parent, I always feel that, okay, fine, my child is sitting in the social media, my child is working on a computer, on a phone and internet or whatever thing. How do I really ensure that they are focusing that time, they are giving the time, the precious time for their betterment? Not everybody is going to be Ritik, that we have to keep in mind always. Right. So while many individuals of the young age, when they tend to dedicate their time on the social media, obviously, and can't help it. We have to go with that. One TikTok is going to get about 3,000 followers and 4,000 likes. Well, I will go with that. I'm going to be famous. I'm going to reach exactly. End of the day, as a parent, when I'm going to be asking this questions, they will say that, what do you want, ma? I have 3,000 followers. What do you want? I've achieved what you were talking about for all these years. I've achieved now. So you have chosen to harness the power of internet for productive purposes like robotics. Where did you get this inspiration from? How did you change this as your passion? And from where it all started? The actual seeding, where it started.
To be more precise on how I became into this kind of field, it was because of a kind of health issue I actually got. So that's the actual truth. So I actually had wheezing trouble. I was actually in Bangalore. So because of the pollen contamination, I had a lot of wheezing issue personally. So when I had this wheezing issue, I was unable to go out of home and play. Even if when it comes to summer, I used to get dry cough, and when it goes to winter, I used to get fever. So this was the cycle of health issues I used to get continuously. So since I was housebound, I used to explore things on my own. That's when my home bought the first computer. Like when I was in my first, with my first hand. So my home bought the first computer. So I used to explore in that computer. I used to play chess and play some small sort of games. And later on it came to later on when I came back to I came to Chennai. That's when I started to explore a lot in YouTube. So I used to sit on YouTube continuously. The only video I would search is how to make a robot. This is the only video I'll be searching for on the internet. Also, my YouTube recommendations used to show up this video continuously. So every video I used to refer, telling the things around my home, started bringing these. Now, at the point of time, I came to know, like when I went to a lot of courses, I joined a lot of courses on robotics because my parents saw the interest on me and they explored and they joined me in a lot of robotic classes. So in order to get a lot of knowledge on it, I started going to classes, and the classes, when I saw that one big problem when it comes to the robotic classes, because they used to bound you with a box. Like, say for example, if they are teaching something, they only teach that one thing and they don't allow you to explore something outside. So this is one disadvantage I saw everywhere around the classes. Now, what I did was, since I'm a kind of a person who likes to explore a lot, so I started exploring with the same kit, with the same things I had, I started exploring outside. So when I started exploring outside, I found a world where I actually saw that whatever I learned was just like around a pond or a puddle. That was the thing I saw. But when I started exploring the internet, that's when I saw the amount of resources that's available in the internet as for free. Everything was for free. You don't need to pay for anything, it's just for free. For just learning that puddle, it took me like around 1.5 lakhs for 1.5 lakh investment for to learn this thing. Now I thought, okay, there's some world where something is like extraordinary, where we could explore a lot. So I started exploring such kind of things. So when I started exploring those internet resources, the thing I found was everything was easier than what I was learning in some kind of classes. Now, very simply, I'll give a very short example. Python is a programming language that everybody uses today. But the same programming language, if you go for a course, they are going to take it for like 3 or 4 months. This is the duration of course. And when it comes to school syllabus, they are going to teach you for 2 years. When it comes to college, they are going to teach you for 3 years. But for me, it just took 48 hours to learn Python. That was the amount of knowledge that internet gave me in 48 hours. So this is the speed, this is the exact resources that were present on the internet. So my thing was I started exploring only on internet, started learning through internet, and use those resources efficiently and productively, and started learning. So that's how I became, and how I became like more convenient in the field. So when the one positive thing what we explore in the internet is that the internet gets updated every day. Every second, internet gets updated. Like you find new contents every day. Now, if you say for a course, it's going to be there for like 1 or 2 years. Like it would be a course that was designed like 1 or 2 year or 3 year back. But when you come to internet, every day it gets updated. You even find a Python programming course which was updated in 2 minutes back. So that's how fast internet is evolving. So if you are coping up with the speed, we are able to catch the trend and be on the trend continuously when it comes to technology. Because when it comes to tech, every day something gets updated. So say if today even one recent incident happened, like when I was writing this book here, this was an artificial intelligence book, as I said before, a book written by artificial intelligence. So while I was developing this book, and when I published this and I gave it to the kind of publisher, the next day when I submitted my entire book and saying that this is the first AI written book, the next day I got an really shocking news that ChatGPT got released. That was the day when ChatGPT got released. So there was some new technology that started. That was a very sudden alternative thing. Like I thought I was the first guy who's gonna publish and who's the first guy I'm gonna outsource it to the world. But suddenly the next day ChatGPT came. So there are a lot of such technologies that actually evolve so faster. So in order to cope up internet, using internet is the best way. And my thing is like learning. My kind of main is that learning from internet is the best one.
I know, really.
Astounding, very astounding.
I just want
And
to in our cuisine, I mean the daily cooking. It's like we want to have change, not the daily the same rasam sambar and the same thing. And it's like getting updated. Moreover, like I really don't know. Like when you read it on the internet, you think that okay, fine, okay, I have to do this. So when you start doing things, it comes so handy. It's so easy. The practical application is so very easy, and that is the thing exactly.
yeah, so Mr. Krithik, of course, you are a school student, and you would, being in the 12th standard, you would have had a lot of academic commitments. And how challenging was it to balance your robotics and the screen time that you required and your studies? And what kind of environment did your parents give you? What kind of rules did they lay? Okay, they said like, okay, it's your 12th standard, you must spend so much time on studies and only so much screen time. Or were there rules? Were there any kinds of but I mean, basically, as a parent, I would also like, I'm inspired by your parents also to know what kind of environment they gave you to bring in so much success.
So to answer on that, like to say like how I became like how I actually went through this school and the holistic way of things. So I started I started these things when like I started my company when I was like not a company like 7th standard I started working on these robotics and projects, and 8th standard I started my company. So that's how I started going. So every day I used to work something on very much faster. Now when it comes to school, how they supported me was like I went to the school directly said that in a month I need 15 days leave to work on this thing. So my school was able to support me. That they didn't actually literally give a leave, but they said if you're going and if it's very much necessary. For example, I used to go to a lot of competitions. Say per month I used to go for at least 5 or 6 competitions, and at least I have to prepare for those competitions. So this is how my schedule was when I was since my 7th standard. So I went and said to the school that I actually need an on duty or some kind of resource where I need some time to work on these projects, and my school was very okay. You can like whatever leave I take was converted to on duty, so I don't need to like worry about my leave in schools. So also one more thing my school supported me was they used to give me scholarships, 100% scholarship. So since 8th to 12th, I studied in a 100% scholarship. So I didn't pay even a penny to my school. So they were very much helpful for me, and they also cooperated with me a lot. So when it comes to the crucial part, the 10th and 11th during the board exams, even though I was set to concentrate on studies, I had a lot of projects pending. Means like even though I concentrate and go to study, I used to get calls from a lot of people coming for competitions or very big opportunities. So I can't miss that because my future is on robotics and artificial intelligence. So in the technology, so I can't miss those opportunities. So even though I was in 10th, I used to work on. But the best thing what the government did was 10th, the exams got cancelled. So because when I was
because of the pandemic.
due to the pandemic. And also to say on the pandemic helped me a lot because starting from 2020 to till I did my starting from 2020, a lot of because since everything was online, schools were like only for half day. So rest of the year I had a lot of time. I could spend I spent a lot of time in these kind of robotics and the parents never used to ask like amount of time because most of the time I used to be like productive on the computer. So they won't used to ask. But also at the same time, I used to manage the screen time. Say I used to work for some time, just walk around and just come back. I again used to do so. I also had a kind of healthy kind of lifestyle. So I was able to manage it. So how I managed it is like how I managed school and this technology and my extracurricular part was like schools were though I had my schools, I used to do all the work in the weekdays and weekends. I used to allocate. Entire weekend I used to allocate the time for this thing. And also most of my activities I used to do it in the holidays time. Like there is no kind of vacation or no kind of enjoyment during holidays. Like I used to have some kind of days, but still mostly I used to concentrate on my part, or like let's say programming or coding or some other competitions during the vacation. So that's how I actually work on. So it was easy for me to go on because since now I completed my 12th and now it's like entire free time only. So before my 12th was like I was able to manage a lot and my school, parents, everybody supported me.
Great.
I liked one thing. I have to share this on the 7th. I started doing robotics. 8th standard, I started my business.
In my company.
It is like chaka. Really amazing, really. And I was just thinking that COVID, those they say COVID has been a blessing in disguise for most of the people who really know and valued that time and made use of the time in a better way. Really.
Even in my case,
absolutely, many people were able to discover themselves. Sorry. Yeah.
Yes.
So in my case, when COVID actually came in, I was since robotics is something that everything needs to be learned handy and physical. Robotics was some kind of subject that I need to teach them on kind of offline. Since pandemic came, I closed my entire offline mode, and I was like worried, like I can't continue my business anymore because I'm not sure how many years this pandemic is gonna take. So suddenly, what happened? I started since I made a lot of projects, so those were like I got some kind of media engagements in things. So my lot of my projects were being published in some kind of articles and newspapers. Seeing that, I got a lot of international contacts. Like till now, I have contacts from USA, Singapore, Dubai, and Malaysia. A lot of countries started contacting me because before I had a class strength of 20, and now within the pandemic, I would have trained more than 2,000 students. So that's the amount of boost that pandemic actually gave me, and that's how the remote work life actually started a lot. So pandemic was actually a kind of blessings for a lot of companies.
Awesome achievement.
Yeah, if I can share something in my regional language, it's like Chatrina irkarda vida Chanakyana irukkaradu. Like that's what they say. Really, yeah, amazing. And hope Mr. Krithik will accept with me. Like when it comes to the project work, to be very frank, let's get into the ground reality of exactly what the situation of the scenario is. When it comes to the project work, the child has a project. That means mama will be running to buy something from the thing, thermocol and other things. Like dad will be going and running around finding out resources. Those things have to really change. The students have to become independent, and You are such an inspiration. You are such a role model to the younger generation. To be very frank, I pray God that I want more students, community to look at this and to know more about Ritik and to learn from him exactly how to make use of it. And secondly, why I was talking about project-based education, these days to the diversified or the modified curriculum of education or the mode of methodology is project-based education. So students get to expose themselves, do the research work, and to work on the project on their own exactly. And second thing, which they should learn from Mr. Ritik is that to get sponsors for their own project. Go and say the project to go discuss and explain in detail with the people such that they are able to sponsor the project. That's what is the thing that I was about to ask. Given the cost associated with robotics, people think that, oh God, these kits are so expensive. Believe me, I'm sorry, my apologies, Mr. Ritik. The word robotics, people say very expensive. The kits are very expensive. Not everyone can really invest or afford to that. And how robotics was affordable to you, accessible to the wider audience. How did you manage that first glitch? I did that and I followed it.
So in this case, I agree with you. Robotics is of course an expensive and costly field. But how I came into this segment was very simple. Like I said before, like my parents invested a lot of money. So how I became is that I started my own business only to get funds to fund my projects. So this is how I actually worked on. So the thing was like I had a knowledge on robotics. So that's the first thing I explored. So I had a knowledge of robotics. I can teach a lot of people on robotics because I had good kind of public speaking skills. So combining both, what if I could afford? I give this as a service and get some funds to do my robotic projects. So this was the line of track what I saw to work on robotics. So that's how I have been working till now. So like I used to take some classes, I used to get the money, I used to earn some money, and from that money I used to invest on my project. So this is how I afforded robotics. But to say on everybody, like to just give a general say on what I actually saw when I came to a field. I mean, when my company started growing and when I came to a field where I did a lot of projects, the thing I came to know was like when it comes to robotics, the projects aren't like important because when robotics is a kind of field where everything is achievable. Say if you're having an idea, it's achievable. It's very common in robotics. So I have seen a lot of institutions, a lot of competitions, a lot of venture capitalists funding only for ideas. You don't need to build anything. You don't need to build a prototype. You don't need to formulate something. If you only have the ideas and a strong idea and a strong base, you are able to work on. Even the government supports it. So with the help of only idea, you're able to patent your innovations. So there are a lot of schemes that I actually saw when I came after crossing all these company things. I came to know that there is this kind of circle where without even a penny without even 1 rupee of investment, you can build a lot of innovation. So this was one thing I saw. So the thing is very simple. You have an idea, just bring that idea, just exaggerate the idea, make sure you research on the idea, all the concepts of the idea, say the problem statement or the solution, how affordable you can make the solution reach them, what's the value you give to your customers, and what are the SWOT analysis. And if you have even a PPT is enough. If you have those compilation of things, you can just go directly to an investor or a startup founder and say that this is one project I have. Why can't you work on it? Or why can't I have the idea, and if somebody has the money to invest on it, then that's all. That becomes a good kind of connection. That's how a lot of startups have been. Because one example I would give is Amazon. So Amazon was one big startup today. Everybody's using. Now, if you say Jeff Bezos, even he didn't have that much investment of money. The thing was, this friend, he contacted just three or four of his friends, said them to invest some money on his Amazon. And today, including Jeff Bezos, the 4 friends who invested are in the billionaires list. Now, this is what things are. So, you don't actually need somebody, or you don't you need to have a kind of large financial background. That's not actually necessary when it comes to robotics. Only your idea is enough. So more specific or more more your idea more unique your idea is, and more problem it solves. more the investment you get and more you reach. So that's what one solution we have for it. So even one advice I will give to a lot of students, because a lot of students used to ask me this doubt. Like I don't have a very good financial background, but I have a lot of ideas in robotics. But how do I bring it to life? Now, only thing I would advise them is just go to the internet, search a lot of competitions. Today there are a lot of competitions. Even if you go to Google now, you'll find at least 10 to 15 competitions who can fund you some money, like some in terms of grant. So at least if you get that minimum amount of money, and like if you're winning the competition, like competition doesn't mean you go to the competition and win the money. You can go there and you will have real-time experts in the industry who can advise you on that. At least if you don't win the project, somebody can advise you on it. So get that advice, start working on it again, and then that's it. You build a very good kind of innovation. So that's how robotics is. It's expensive, but the thing is, anybody is able to achieve that thing easily. So this is one thing.
This is a new insight to us.
Yeah, you should be able to sell yourself, and your product should be such that people should say that yes, we need it. And so
one thing also, like also I would like to also warn few people on that, because people think that if you are sharing your project, people would steal those ideas. There is one problem here also. Now, to avoid this problem, government has a solution. There is a thing called as provisional patents. Now, if you are applying some provisional patents, government is going to give you a time, so like around 1 year or whatever time you actually want. Within that 1 year, if you are able to do that project, then you can patent the project as a prototype. Now, this is one system what government is working on. I mean, government is doing it. So, say if you are applying a provisional patent, within that 1 year, whomsoever copies your idea, you can file a legal case on them that I applied the patent first and nobody has the. Even if they try to apply the patent without telling you, the government won't accept it, because this patent is on provisional basis. So, you have all the resources around you. The only thing you have to do is just connect the dots and work on it.
Exactly.
Absolutely, absolutely.
If you can just throw little light upon those government schemes that you were mentioning that really helped you. One is this patent. We have to publish a patent and with the government header. Then any other schemes that you would like to suggest people, which has really helped you?
So when it comes to so government, when it comes to mostly India has a lot of schemes when it comes to this. But one thing I would like to say is we have this educational institutions called as IITs. Now all the IITs have this kind of tech fest every kind of period. So for example, when it comes to IIT Madras, if you just go December to January, there will be a tech fest called as Shastra. Now if you are applying for that event, it has a lot of business pitching events. You can go and pitch there and you can work on it. So this is one kind of. So secondly, like it happens in all the IITs. So this is one thing. Secondly, if you just go through the internet itself, you have thousands and thousands of competitions being waiting for, like they'll say like we'll give you like $10,000 cash prize or 10,000 rupees cash prize, whatever. So if you're just applying for this event, just give it a try, then you can work on this. So provisional patent is one thing what secures the right. So secondly, what I would also say is that, say if you don't have both the opportunities, say for example, your idea is not patentable, at the same time, you're unable to go to some competitions. Then you can post it on your social media. Continuously, when you post it on your social media, at least one person, like say a professional social media like LinkedIn, if you're posting on this kind of social media continuously, then there is going to be one person who's going to contact you at any random time, and they can actually work on your project. So that's how you actually connect to a lot of people. So this is how usually robotic projects used to come.
Yeah, it's a very nice insight and inspiration to many youngsters. Now, my next question is like about a few years ago, we didn't have computer science in every school. I mean, computers were new. It was something so sophisticated and so. I mean, something that was not for everyone. Today, the schools have all integrated it in their academic curriculum, and the nation is digitally literate, especially India. So, do you think robotics also should be part of school education? It should be incorporated in the academic curriculum. So, what do you think? Whether it should be or shouldn't be?
Robotics, it could be an elective kind of subject. I won't say like it's necessary or not necessary, because when it comes to robotics, technology is a very kind of big ocean. and robotics is just a branch of that particular. If you take a case on like including robotics, I would say if it's elective, like if the student wants to take robotics, then of course they can go on. Like it should be kind of an optional kind of subject. Then it's totally fine. Now speaking on why it is required to make it as an elective subject is because today every robotics, like if you go to any schools, robotics is a kind of subject that is being brought by some other outsourcing companies. Like schools partner with some other different educational institutions, and then they bring robotics in. Now, when it actually integrates with the government can bring a lot of schemes to the schools directly and work on these kind of robotics projects easily. Now, why robotics is the reason I would say why robotics should be brought because like robotics is a field where you can work on anything because you don't need anything very specifically or very advanced to learn robotics. Robotics is very simple. To say you can learn you can learn the entire robotics thing in just 1 month or two. That is enough for you to learn robotics because robotics is so easy. It's not like rocket science or something very much complicated to work on calculations or nothing. Nothing. You have to just build. You have to get the hardware, assemble it, program it, and that's all it runs. That's all. This is what robotics is. Like there is no, there's nothing very much complicated with it. So robotics can be taught to a lot of school students very easily. So if it's brought to the schools, then it's well and good. A lot of students who are interested in robotics would opt for it. At the same time, nobody can't take robotics as their entire life career. That I will also advise on that because a lot of people are saying that robotics is going to be the future and robotics is going to be everything in the future. But if you have asked me this question like 10 years back, I would have said yes. But if you ask me now, I would say no. Because robotics has become saturated. Means there are a lot of, even if you go I share my personal experience. Today, every single 10 to 15 years back, if I go to a classroom and ask what is robotics, what is Arduino or some kind of board game, they said we don't know about it. But if I go in a class, there is at least 2 or 3 students who know what is the Arduino or what is the robotic, how does robotics works. So robotics has become a highly saturated. Now, a good kind of comparison I would give is like 10 to 15 years or 20 years back, if there was a person who's an a person who's working in automobile industry, in assembly field, he gets a separate respect in the society. That he works in a very highly reputed automobile company, he works and assembles parts. But today you have thousands and thousands of automobile engineers and they're just like a common thing. So similarly, robotics once upon a time, it had a kind of place where nothing was researched. Like nothing was researched. But I guess I could move the camera to. Now a 17-year or a 16-year-old guy is able to build a humanoid robot as large as this.
Oh.
Now, this is how robotics has become accessible. So there is no kind of specific field where somebody has to take life career as their robotics or such kind of. So robotics is a very kind of field. If you learn it as a skill, then it's totally fine. But if you're learning it as for the future, then I'm not sure about what you're going to get.
That's true. Well, I really want to mention one more thing here. The way he said, 10 years before, if you would ask me, I would have said, oh, robotics, yes. What is your age?
Given what surprised me was 20 years ago. I was wondering if you would be born by then.
No, really. I have to disclose something very much here. I was such a nut. And only through during COVID time, really, COVID was such a blessing in disguise. How to make the Zoom meeting, how to conduct a Zoom meeting. I started exploring, and necessity is the mother of invention. For me, it was like that. I had to really catch up with my meetings and the office work and other things. So definitely, it just put me in front of a sea. Then I'm learning things. Okay, fine. I have to learn. It's like that. And the way you are telling 10 years before, at this small age, what you have accomplished, my goodness, I would say that even inspiration, being a role model, what all I spoke about you, they're so less. Really amazing. It is amazing.
Yeah.
And really, God bless you and way ahead, really. And I want to know more about your book, actually, the book and thing artificial intelligence, really. Because when we are talking about COVID, during COVID time, I wrote my book, actually. That was Education 360, which was presented as a paper, as a patent, as you said. So that had quite a lot of recognition. And from there, to be very frank, it started for me. And this book is definitely something which I would like to read and go through it. And the composed AI inputs that you have put it, like exactly, do you think that it will stifle creativity of a person, or is it going to add or enhance to it, or is it only going to cater to the, or exactly summarize and ancillary the decision making process of a child, as you were talking about, considering the misuse of AI in the present world? How would you help the younger generation? Your advice would be very precious on this regard, really. How to make use of them, how they can become so disciplined like you in handling this AI.
So coming to AI, like the use cases of artificial intelligence, I would say AI is a kind of field which has good things, which has bad things. So this is how I used to rate AI: 50% for good, 50% for bad. So the thing is that artificial intelligence is gonna same time it's gonna destroy a lot of things, gonna create a lot of things. Now, because with what everybody thinks about artificial intelligence is that people actually think that it's not going to clone your creativity. Humans have emotions, and AI cannot AI cannot replicate human emotions. That's what people actually think. But reality is AI can replicate everything what humans can do. They're faster than humans. So that is the power of AI. At the same time, AI is a kind of unmatured child. That's what I would say. A single word, if I want to say, it's not a mature kid. It's an unmatured kid. That's it. Because that if you just teach that AI, so to just say layman terms, if I just teach that AI to do bad things, it's going to do bad things. Of course, it's going to do what the master says. So if I want to fine tune it to make it into good things, and of course, it's going to do good things. Now, to say about few of the artificial intelligence, I would say one artificial intelligence technology that's going to at the same time ruin the world and help the world. So there's one kind of artificial intelligence called as deepfake. I guess a lot of people would have heard of deepfakes. So deepfakes are nothing but, say for example, this is a kind of video where you are interacting with. Now, say for example, at the same time, like we schedule this meeting at for 6 o'clock. Now, say for example, 6 o'clock I'm busy, and I also have another meeting. With the help of deepfake technology, I can be in both the meetings. This is how deepfaking works. So very simple. Even one more advantage is that I could also keep somebody who looks not even similar to me, somebody who looks like me, and I could replace their face with my face with the help of AI technologies. This is how artificial intelligence works. Now, this at the same case, I could misuse it. Say, for example, there's a kind of statement what some VIPs say, and those VIP statements, I could just actually change it as I said. So in this case, like whatever I said, like I used to just misuse their face to do whatever things I want. So there's a good thing and there's a bad thing in both the cases. So I would say when this artificial intelligence is gonna work and when this artificial intelligence is gonna work correctly is that the time when our government or the United Nations or international organizations come together and put a strict regulation on how artificial intelligence is going to benefit the society, that's when the time we're going to work on it. So what I would suggest for people now is like for kids who are interested in AI is that don't go too far in AI. Like means that don't get into a lot of AI stuff. Means there are if you get into AI, you're just going to wonder, you're just going to be amazed. The mistake what I did was when I started researching on AI, I started first I thought of making an artificial intelligence clone of myself, an AI clone of myself, so which attends meeting instead of. So this is one project I was working on. Slowly, what happened was I thought of another. While entering into this thing, I thought of another project. Why should I actually speak to the people like something in a real time. So in that artificial intelligence, what happens is that I used to give the script. And the AI speaks. Now, when I went into it, I got a second idea. Why can't it generate its own script? So I started working on generating its own script. Now, when it went to generating its own script, thought, why can't the generated script? Because generated scripts usually used to be in some other voice. So why can't I fine tune to my voice? I went into it again. Now again I jumped to another field where I saw very much kind of an interesting kind of thing where black and white photographies can be converted into color photographies. Whatever black and white photographies you have, I can convert it into color. Like all the old movies, whatever you have, I can convert it into a real color. So you can actually see how it was there in real time into color. So slowly I went to that field, completely varied. So artificial intelligence actually allows you to wander a lot. So that's one thing I actually face, and now only came to the first part of the group. So what I would suggest is that students could learn artificial intelligence. First, learn artificial intelligence from the basics, from the code. Like, because we used to jump a lot, a lot of people used to jump a lot to the end stage faster. But what I suggest in artificial intelligence is that they have to learn from the core, starting from the base to the end. So that's how they have to work on. Now, how to make somebody productive in artificial intelligence? That's one question what everybody is. Now, if you want to make someone productive in the field of artificial intelligence, they could actually use artificial intelligence for their own purpose. That's how they could help. For example, I know this can't be taken as an example, but still, say if my school gives me a homework to write an essay, I go to ChatGPT and write an essay and submit it. Now it makes my life easier. Now that's how you integrate AI into your life. So because say for example, if I write an essay, it's going to take me 10 minutes. I want to think and I have to write it. And I also do like a lot of grammatical mistakes. I have to check the line again and I have to do it, and I have to also maintain the word limit. Now an AI can do it in just 30 seconds. That's the piece time it's going to take. 30 seconds I will submit an essay. So AI has so first thing I would say is that make your life easier with AI, then you can work on some kind of AI tools. So that's one thing that helps a lot of people.
Very true. Use it as a salt in a curry. Too much of salt in a spot. Very true. Very, very true. Exactly. As long as the science is a servant, you are a master. The minute science becomes a master, that's all. Nobody can serve. True.
Yeah. On that front, can you share experiences on how you created the humanoid, and what are your future endeavors in building a humanoid? Is there anything more that you're looking at? And and also I would like to ask, recently, a couple of years back, we had movies like 2.0, and in Malayalam, I don't know if you've heard Android Kunjapan version 5.25. So these robots portray that these robots can autonomously program themselves, and they can also get into destructive behavior. So is it something that we should actually, is it an associated risk? Should we actually think of it considering the technology of robotics and AI? What are your thoughts on that?
So in that context, what I would like to say is that, now say for example, so first thing was like about my humanoid thing. So I built that humanoid like when I was actually born in my home, like during the COVID time, I was literally bored in my home. So that's when I started building these kind of humanoid robots. So these humanoid robots, the reason I built was during COVID time, a lot of doctors suffered to treat the patients, going to the general ward and working on with the patient. So that was very much tough. So my idea was to make doctors do a work from home easy. So that's what my thinking was. So with the help of these robots, people can, the doctors can actually do a video calling interface. So there is a kind of LCD display here. So they can do a video call. At the same time, these kind of robots would check the temperature and all the vitals required for the doctor to treat the patients, and can also deliver the medicines to that particular temperature. So that's how this AI was developed. I mean, this humanoid robot was developed. And also I built an electric car, which is completely solar powered. So the special thing of the car is that the entire car can be manufactured under 2 lakhs. Under 2 lakhs, you can drive an entire electric car. So that's what my prototype was. So now coming on to the fact, like the real movies, what we see in movies, like we saw 2.400. There are a lot of movies in such. Now, say whether they are real or fake, I would say it depends on the people. Again, if you see the movies, I mean, on the basis of movie, you can see robots work on themselves, but that is not going to happen. It's going to work under a person. Okay, the person is going to be very kind of destructive. Then of course the robots are going to be destructive. So that's how I could actually see, because AI, whenever you whatever thing you do, it cannot function by its own and could create its own work. They're actually purely fiction. Maybe this happens in the next century. Okay. So currently, speaking on the current technological era, or say for speaking over the next 50 or 60 years, the next 60 years there's going to be nothing like overtake or AI doing itself and killing a lot of people. It's not going to happen. At the end of the day, AI is going to depend on some kind of person. Because why I'm saying this is because AI, whatever it, how much ever it's powerful, you're just going to switch off the main, like it's going to go off. That's all. This is what AI is. There's nothing very much complicated in artificial intelligence. So when it comes to AI, there's nothing that's going to be off. But the person who makes that AI is going to be the person who's responsible for its use cases. So that's how AI, the artificial intelligence or robotics is going to work. So there's not going to be any kind of overtake or such kind of things. So it depends on the person. So one example I would use that today Elon Musk is developing a robot called as in his Tesla laboratory, he's developing a humanoid robot. Now those humanoid robots are used for kind of manufacturing purposes. Now the same robots are used for kind of different kind of like using for kind of military or some kind of destructive purposes, then of course it's going to destroy a lot of. So robots are going to do what is going to be programmed. So our thing is that we have to program the robots, or we have to build these kind of applications that is safe for human service.
Yeah. Very, very nice insight. And could you also tell us about your future plans? I think you missed on that.
So my future plans, I would say that I would like to become a kind of I would like to scale my entrepreneurship goals in such a way that I actually my main aim is that to build projects that are very much cost effective. That's my main aim. So also I used to solve all these most of the sustainable development goals present. What I would like to say when it comes to the artificial intelligence or robotics or like whatever my future plan is, that I want to build a kind of technology that is accessible by everybody. So that's one thing I'm going to focus on what. And also I would like to build a kind of startup ecosystem where a lot of students could actually learn robotics with the help of open source platforms. So like open source platform in the sense, people can actually learn by themselves with the help of some kind of AI tool or something. They don't need to be dependent on some kind of AI or Google kind of. So they could learn by themselves. So these are a few things I'm planning on.
Great to know that.
We just realized that it's for past 1 hour we've been talking, and we just didn't realize how it went, so fast. Yes. And really an amazing and inspiring thing. Like I would say, like people, all younger generation, they have got quite a lot to take home today, and they've got quite a lot to learn from you. And we shouldn't stop here, first of all. That's my humble request. We should meet a lot of youngsters, and as such, we should take it forward to them, being a role model and being an inspiration to them. Isn't it, Ms. Sandhya?
Absolutely. I think, and one more thing which I would like to add is we usually say for the older people, age is only a number, but I think I'd like to use it for him as well, Krithik. Age is only a number, and there is no boundary if you have the passion to achieve and the wealth of knowledge that you've gained. May it grow into leaps and bounds of all your success and endeavors.
Really, as meeting you, I felt that it's really so very precious and really an inspiration, such that people will feel that, yes. And your parents must be really proud of you, definitely. And also your teachers who have just will say that, okay, I've taught Ritika, and Ritik has been my student and such, and you from our India, our motherland, India. Like India is always proud of you, and many laurels to come. And as we know, like it's just a beginning, as we all will agree, and it's a beautiful beginning as such. And I look forward to work with you more and more, definitely, on all those projects that we have discussed as such, and to take it forward to all institutions, basically. Like thinking that robotics, robotics is not something like the way they are thinking about. It's not that well, and they should be able to handle it in such a way. And they need to have these inputs, they need to have these influences, they need to have this thoughtfulness, and they should have the clear idea and the wisdom behind that of how to handle things. And last but not the least, would you like to share something from your side for our audience or for the younger generation?
Yeah. So one thing I would like to say to everybody is that a lot of people used to think that they fail a lot of times and they used to give up a lot of times. So giving up is actually a crime, what I would like to say to the younger generation. So you shouldn't give up very much easily, because if you say me, I crossed like around a lot of hurdles, a lot of kind of challenges I used to face. Now, if you say today, if I'm facing some kind of challenge, it's not a challenge, it's just a kind of it's just like I used to pass by challenges very easily. Like it's not very much tough for me. So what I would like to say is that people should not think on the like whatever challenges they get or whatever failures they get. So they should start working on something that's very much breakthrough and start focusing on it. So there's no kind of like drawbacks or end to this world. You have a lot of things outside. So the thing I would like to say is that don't give up at any cost.
Very true. Yes,
Very, very inspiring. Yeah, definitely. I mean, the kind of energy saying that I think it's going to be a great inspiration when this video reaches to many of the younger generation, and also to us. This is going to be one of my very memorable interviews. The kind of thought process and the kind of inspiration and the hard work that you have put in and the passion that you have for robotics and the goals that you have set for yourself and your career at this age is something very, very admirable. And we wish you the very, very best for all your future endeavors as well.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
for this opportunity.
Yes, Mr. Ritik. Okay. So the thing is that, as we know, we have got 3 takeaways. Hope everybody will agree with me, definitely. One is that after reaching so much, and it took nearly about 10 minutes of non-stop, breathtaking introduction, which I did for him today. And by the time by the end of the introduction, I started really gasping. And that was too much. And how many awards, how many international awards, and what not. That was too very less for his age. After all these things, with simple humbleness, and he's asking, that's the way that's the lesson that I've taken up today. Whether it is success or a failure, be level-headed, and it's just momentary. And success is not a destiny. It's always a process. That's what he's living as an example to us. So our children, our students, our younger generation should learn to accept success and a destiny on the same platform and treat it as a life experience, not to just take it to the head. That's what is the thing. And he's a living example, living legend that we have brought in front today. Exactly. So what's success? If you ask me, Ritik will say, what's next? Okay, this is done. This is success. I've succeeded. What's next? Let me just move on. So that's what he is. And that's how he has reached this much at the age of 18. Okay. And the second thing, which I would like to sum it up as that the best way to destiny is you create it, you strive for it, and you drive it. And everybody will agree with me that destiny is a wonderful tapestry in which every thread, the success or a failure, is guided by a tender hand. And that tender hand is your own hand. which is more like a potter's clay, and the heart that you hold is a potter's clay, and you mold it thread by thread, and such that you take it forward, and what you bring it as a sculpture is your own destiny. You have carved your own destiny. Beautiful. That's what is that thing that he has done it, and he has proved himself through and through in his life. And way to go, really. And third thing is that every single step in life is 1,000 miles to take you forward. Every single step is a big leap to fly high. So that's what is just there to convey to us. Thank you so much, Mr. Krithik. Really, I'm so proud to meet you. I'm so happy to have you all here on this platform. Hope you enjoyed being with us today. And thanks for your question.
I really am.
Really. Thank you so much. Thanks for giving your time. And as I told you, coming together is a beginning. Staying together is a process. Working together is success. So let's make it more successful. Start working on it. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks once again. And our sincere respects to your proud parents. Thank you.
Definitely.